The cycle of tidying and returning clutter is a common feature of home life. Many people observe that spaces become messy again, sometimes shortly after being organized. This phenomenon isn't just about a lack of effort, it's rooted in the fundamental ways we interact with our living environments. Understanding these patterns can offer a new perspective on the state of our homes. One of the primary reasons mess reappears is that our homes are not static displays. They are active, functional spaces where daily life unfolds. Every item brought into the home, from groceries and mail to new purchases, requires a decision. Where does it go? Does it have a designated place? If not, it often lands on the nearest available surface, like a kitchen counter, a dining table, or an entryway bench. These surfaces become unintentional holding zones for items in transition. Over time, these small deposits accumulate, creating visible clutter. This isn't a failure of organization, but a direct result of daily living and the constant flow of objects in and out of the household. Another key factor is what is sometimes called entropy, the natural tendency for systems to move from order to disorder. A perfectly tidy room is an ordered state. Daily activities: getting dressed, making a meal, working from home, a child playing with toys and reduce energy and movement, which naturally disrupts that order. A shirt taken out of a drawer and not immediately put away, a book left on the coffee table, or utensils left by the sink are all small instances of this process. Each individual action seems minor, but collectively they contribute to a gradual return to a less organized state. Maintaining order requires a constant input of energy to counteract this natural pull towards disarray. The design and layout of a home also play a significant role. Many living spaces are not designed with the realities of modern life in mind. For example, a home might lack sufficient storage near the point of entry for coats, bags, and shoes. As a result, these items pile up by the door. Similarly, a kitchen with limited counter space and poorly accessible cabinets can lead to appliances and ingredients living permanently on countertops. This is often described as a mismatch between the home system and the user's actual needs. When the path of least resistance is to leave something out rather than put it away, clutter is the predictable outcome. The effort required to maintain tidiness is simply too high in a system that doesn't support it. Behavioral patterns, often developed over many years, are also influential. Some people have a habit of object stockpiling, where they leave items in a particular spot with the intention of dealing with them later. This might be a stack of papers to be sorted, clothes to be mended, or items to be returned to another room. The later often gets postponed, and the small pile grows into a larger one. This isn't necessarily procrastination, but a cognitive habit. The brain prioritizes immediate tasks and pushes less urgent organizational activities into the future. Once a surface has been established as a drop zone, it becomes psychologically easier to add more items to it, reinforcing the pattern. The sheer volume of possessions is another critical element. In many households, the amount of stuff owned exceeds the available storage capacity. Closets are packed, drawers are full, and shelves are overflowing. When there's no empty space to put an item away, it's left out in the open. This is a simple equation of volume. Even with the best organizational intentions, if there are more things than places to put them, the excess will become clutter. This is sometimes referred to as the container principle. Every item needs a container or a designated home. When the number of items surpasses the number of available homes, mess is inevitable. Psychological factors also contribute. For some, decision fatigue is a real barrier. After a long day of making choices at work or in other areas of life, the mental energy required to decide where to put an item can feel surprisingly high. It's simply easier to set it down. This is why mess often accumulates in the evenings or on weekends. Furthermore, our emotional state can influence our environment. When people feel overwhelmed or tired, their tolerance for disorder may increase, or their motivation to tidy may decrease. The state of the home can become a reflection of one's internal state. The concept of clutter blindness is another interesting phenomenon. Over time, we can become so accustomed to the mess in our own homes that we stop seeing it. A pile of magazines that has been on a side table for months becomes part of the landscape. The brain filters it out as irrelevant background information. This makes it difficult to address the clutter because, on a subconscious level, it's no longer perceived as being out of place. It only becomes visible again when we see it through fresh eyes. Perhaps when expecting guests or after returning from a vacation. Household dynamics are also a major factor, especially in shared living spaces. Different people have different standards of tidiness and different organizational habits. One person might be meticulous about putting things away immediately, while another might be more relaxed. These differing styles can lead to friction and a constant state of flux. Even if one person tidies, the habits of others can quickly undo their efforts. Without shared systems and agreements on how spaces should be maintained, the environment will naturally revert to the level of order set by the person with the highest tolerance for mess. It's a group system, and its state is determined by all its members. Finally, many people approach tidying as an event rather than a process. They might dedicate a full weekend to a massive deep clean or organization project. While the results can be satisfying, this approach doesn't address the daily habits that created the mess in the first place. Tidiness is more effectively maintained through small, consistent routines rather than infrequent, large-scale efforts. Without incorporating simple organizational tasks into daily life, like spending 5 minutes tidying the kitchen before bed or sorting mail as soon as it comes in, the cycle of mess and frantic cleaning will continue. The mess comes back because the daily actions that prevent its accumulation are not in place.